today we've had a little bit of a technical hiccup, so to speak. A lot of things happen with technology, and the thing is, technology is not really my job. So I am on today, and I'm going to be interviewing the lovely Lesley Wells, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get Lesley on here. So welcome anyway, and I'll just wait while Lesley comes on. But this is the social media switch off interviews, and the reason why I'm doing social media switch off interviews is so that you can try out different modalities, whether it's spiritual, whether it's whatever it is, over the weekend, so you can learn to chill out. So the social media switch off is this is all about you, taking time out over the weekend away from social media, and seeing what a massive difference that makes to your mental health, your mind health, how you feel, your physicality. So I always encourage a social media switch off every weekend. And sometimes, social media switch offs can be hard. There's no hard or fast rules. It might mean deleting a few apps. It may mean leaving your phone somewhere. It might mean different things to different people. But the main thing is that you take a little break away for you, so you don't have shiny object syndrome, because that's what many of us have, shiny object syndrome. And I'm definitely one person that would say that she's a recovering shiny object syndrome addict. Oh, I've got you. But it's so lovely to have you here.
You too. Yes, thank you very much for this. It's nice to join you and just have a little chat about, hypnotherapy and, what I do to help people and that sort of thing. So thank you for this.
Oh, no worries. It's lovely to have you on, because you do such amazing stuff, especially for other people. And, you help people so much. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Me, well, I haven't always been a hypnotherapist. I've been a secretary, I've been a university administrator, I've been a holiday rep and a resort manager. But whatever role I've done, I've always supported other people or helped them in some way. But also throughout my life, I've been dogged by those horrible twins called anxiety and depression. And I've had a bit of psychotherapy, I've had counselling, and people trying to drill down to why. And they've sort of identified an experience that happened to me when I was a child, which seemed to be, or they thought was the root cause. And once we put that to rest, I thought, that's it, fine, I can carry on with my life now and everything's happy and hunky-dory. But I still kept getting the anxiety and depression. And more recently, in my old job at the university, with lots of changes that were going on, that anxiety and depression started to come back and got even heavier and was quite difficult. And as you know, I had 2 or 3 periods of sick leave when it just completely floored me. And I thought, something's got to give. I was on antidepressants, things weren't working. The counselling was offering me some comfort and relief, but it really wasn't drilling down to what is the root cause. Why do I do this all the time? Why am I repeating the same behaviour all the time? And I started getting into things like meditation and holistic ways of healing me, and found that they helped relieve the symptoms a lot. But I wanted to do more than just relieve them. But at the same time, I wanted to help other people do the same thing. And I eventually came into hypnotherapy, partly inspired by a friend of mine who'd come into hypnotherapy about 10 years ago. And partly because it seemed to me a logical progression from doing all the meditation. And so I started the training. And whilst doing the training, I was completely and utterly blown away by understanding how the mind works and the depths that you can go to finding things out. And that's when I discovered the real root of all of my anxiety and depression. And it went down to my past behaviours, my past reactions, my first ever reaction to extreme stress, and how then I carried on repeating that. and why I was the way I was, why I seemed so highly strung at times, where it's all come from. And so it's only in the last year when I've actually knocked that all on the head. And like anybody else, I have the odd wobbly day, but I don't have those extended periods of darkness anymore. And so that's why I want to help other people, because it's not just how it affects us in terms of things like anxiety and depression. These sorts of things have other consequential effects, weight issues, even down to things like fears and phobias, addictions, things like that, that all come from our learned behaviours and our previous life experiences. And when we get to the root of that, that's when we can make solving the other issues, the symptoms, solving the symptoms becomes a much easier job.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you as well. Changes your perception.
It certainly does. It's a complete paradigm shift as far as I'm concerned. And all of a sudden, you know, the clouds part, the sun comes out, and you start thinking, why didn't I figure this out sooner? Why have I suffered all these years? Why have I let myself go through this? It was that simple. I should have done this years ago. But once you do actually find it, and you're able to then apply that to your life and make such positive changes, it doesn't matter what's happened before, and it doesn't matter how long you've put up with that crap. The fact that you're now able to move forwards and leave that behind is fantastic. The past then can just stay where it is. It's what is yet to come in front of you that takes the focus. And that's what you build on, and that's where your strength comes from, and your whole positive mindset comes from what lies ahead and what you can achieve, and what was back there can stay back there. So yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Especially, you know, this is really great stuff to hear, especially, you know, for anyone who's watching this, who's stepping forward, because sometimes you have to step forward out of what's happened to you in the past. You know, and I completely agree with you on, you know, on hypnotherapy and visualizations as well. You know, just when you picture things, you can work on to, you know, lower the intensity of something, the intensity of something, and change the perception of something. I think I was talking to Rosalind Palmer last week, where we were saying, Rosalind said to me, she goes, if there was a zombie apocalypse, you'll be like kind of going, oh, okay. It's good.
Yeah, where's that plank of wood? Where did I leave it? Off
But it doesn't mean that, you know, that you don't empathize anymore, or, you know, or see that situation anymore, does it?
No, it doesn't. It just means that you're able to use it to your advantage rather than letting it consume you.
Yeah.
So you're in control of it, and you're using it to your benefit and to your advantage. And so, yeah, everything just takes on a completely different view. So it becomes a part of your toolkit rather than a part of you. And I think that's the important part. That's the change.
That's so true, because when there's such a changing perception on something, you find that everything literally changes. It flows differently. Life flows differently. The right people come into your life, don't they? You get an email one day and it's like, you know, it's something that is possibly incredible to you. Certain little things start to happen. You notice certain things. I'm sure you probably notice all the birds that have been outside and tweeting, and the beautiful flowers and the smells, and your senses start to kick in because you're not focused elsewhere, isn't it?
That's right. And even down to food and drink, it intensifies the flavors.
Yeah.
And you have such more of an appreciation of such things. So, and I think then you're less likely to just sit and shovel it all in. Then you take your time, because you think, yeah, I'm really enjoying this. And you start to just enjoy life. You know, so even though we've been boxed in our own homes for weeks, and for someone like me, to be fair, I'm not the world's biggest socialite. And so staying at home indoors to me isn't an enormous hardship. I don't feel like I've been restricted in any way. I can still go out for walks, and I'm happy in my own company and I'm not really feeling a pinch of it. I'm missing a little bit, I'm missing my best mate a little bit, but other than that, I can find ways of getting through the day without feeling the pain of it. But I know others do suffer as a result, you know. So yeah, I find that that greater sense of awareness and sense of mindfulness and appreciation of what's around helps so much more when we are confined. Yeah, and you take joy from just the smaller things in your environment, and it does make the biggest difference.
That comes down to gratitude as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, gratitude is a big thing. And if you're watching this today and you've not started doing any kind of gratitude practice, I would definitely highly recommend adopting a gratitude practice. The attitude of gratitude, a lot of people say, don't they? Being
Yes.
thankful for everything. There's so many stuff that's going on, and what can we be grateful for? What are the things that we can be actually grateful for? I mean, you mentioned food, like shoveling it in and stuff. And I watched my son the other day, and he eats. Those that don't know my son Lenny, he eats. He kind of takes a bite and he sits and he's like, and he just sits and like he just takes it in. And I'm always me and my daughter just look at him. He's always like meditating, and sometimes he dances. He like has a little bit of a shimmy and stuff, and he just eats his food like little by little. And I'm like, how beautiful. How beautiful
That's a fantastic thing. If he carries that on into adulthood as well, it's just going to be a fantastic practice to
I
be.
think things like that are just so beautiful. So tell us about, because you're here to teach us some things today, and that's what the social media switch off is all about. It's all about, sharing, the wonderful things that you do, sharing the wonderful things that you do. So for people who are here right now can watch this, so they're able to be more consistent, be more focused, get all that kind of chitter chatter out your head, or that overthinking that may be going on. Maybe you're procrastinating as well. That always comes with overthinking, doesn't it? If you're overthinking, then you may not be doing the things that you want to do, and then you might go into a repetitive cycle of beating yourself up, right?
Exactly.
And I say this because this is something that I've been through. And you have to kind of always be aware of it, don't you, Lesley? So it's nice to have you here and to share, what a few tips that people can do possibly over the weekend as well.
Well, that's it. I mean, I was thinking about the three things that I gave you for us to sort of talk about, discuss, and touch on, and that sort of thing. And when it comes to things like the transformational side of hypnotherapy and how that can make such changes to us, and going back into our early lives and looking at experiences that we've had, behaviours that we've learned, because a lot of the things that we do, we learn, and we've learnt almost from being in the womb. So I know from my personal experience, my mum has always been a very nervous person, and she's always been quite highly strung. And I was aware as a child having to walk around on eggshells around her quite a lot. And from the moment I was conceived, I was picking up all of that energy from within her to start with. So it was no surprise then I went into my childhood with colic and other associated digestive disorders, and I was quite highly strung as a child, and I would react to stress in a very negative fashion. And I learned all that from her. So I've had to unpick all of that in the last few years and put it back where it belongs and give it back to my mum. That's yours. I don't want it. It's nothing to do with me. I don't want it. And so it's learning what is actually yours, and what isn't yours. So it takes time, and it does take a little time. So if you're sitting there and there's not much going on, and you just got some time on your hands, just to really think about things that you do that drive you crazy, but you don't know why and you don't know how to stop it. That if you then think back, as far back as you can go to when you first started thinking or behaving or believing that particular thing, Where has it come from? Who put it there? And then consciously and subconsciously in your head, give it back to them, because that's not yours. Don't want it, doesn't serve me, have it back. Thanks for the gift, but it's unwanted. Have it back, don't want it. You know, kick it over the fence, whatever, but just give it back. And quite often we're good at trying to cure our symptoms, but we're not awfully good at looking at the root cause. And so one of the analogies I like to use, one of the visualizations I like to use, is imagine in your garden, for instance, you have got a elderberry bush. We used to have one. They're horrible. I know some people like them, but horrible things. They're horrible because they attract black fly. And black fly then affects all the other plants in your garden. And so the classic thing we do is we get that little spray gun, don't we? And we fill it with insecticide and we go around and spray to kill all the black flies. Great, black flies gone. But the bush is still there. And within time, the black fly come back. And they keep coming back. And they keep coming back. And each time you keep spraying them to get rid of them. But the root cause is still standing there in the middle of your garden. And the only thing you can do is take it down to the root and destroy the root and get rid of it. And then you no longer have a black fly. So you've got to stop trying to fix a symptom. You've got to drill down to the root. And then the symptom will go away and take care of itself. So if you drill down to the root of what it is that makes you anxious or makes you feel depressed, where has that feeling come from? Where has that come from within you? And it will go back, way back into your childhood. And it will come from an outside influence, a parent, someone else in authority, a teacher, even a co-worker, a fellow student, might have come from bullying, wherever it's come from. It's an outside influence that you need to drill down to and then give back, get rid, so that then you can overcome the symptom. And the anxiety, the depression, the weight issues, the phobias, somehow manage to almost take care of themselves. And then if you're having hypnotherapy for that as well, that's the easiest part of the hypnotherapy, because the hard work comes with drilling down. Yeah. And sometimes it can be painful to drill down. I understand that. I know that from personal experience. You go through a lot of tears when you go through that. But sometimes you have to. And then when you do, what lies ahead of you is so much brighter and so much easier. You know, it's the same as if you're carrying around a rucksack full of rocks on your back, or you've got a millstone attached to your waist by a rope, and you're going to be lugging this around or dragging it around 24/7. And you're not making progress because you're carrying around something that's not actually yours, but you've adopted it, you've taken it on and you think it's part of you, but you can get rid. It's not actually grafted onto you. It's not like a limb. It's something you can take off. You can drop that rucksack. You can cut that rope. You can let it go. Then you can move forward. It's identifying what that millstone is, what those rocks in the rucksack are, and then getting rid, giving it back, releasing yourself and moving forward. The transformation comes with the release, the freedom, moving forward.
Wow, that's so powerful. So powerful. I'm going to read some of the comments here as well, because there's a few comments here as well. So Jeannie says hello. Esther's saying very interesting. Jeannie said that is true. Take away the root of the problem and you remove it. And that's so true. So true. Because something personal happened to me last week after I had an amazing chat with Roz. Roz is on here as well, actually. Hello, sweetie. But I went down to my root and was gifted a box by someone that I had a memory of. Well, I had a memory come to me, which I don't know whether it's true or whether it's false, but I've had to deal with it in the same way that you would deal with it if it happened to you. And this memory was a memory of abuse, and I went into the root of, well, the root cause of it. I was gifted a box with my voice in it, and gifted my voice back. Hence, that's why I've been speaking up a lot more. But it's so true, you know, that when you get to the root, and sometimes you have to face some stuff that you may not like, you know, some hard truths.
Yeah.
But when you accept those hard truths, that this is what you do and this is why you do it, then you can learn to move on. You know, it's so true, Lesley. Thank you.
It is. And it's I mean, you talk about a light bulb moment, don't you? When you go, oh,
Yeah.
to me, it's almost like the entire bloody chandelier goes on, and then you suddenly think, of course, it makes so much sense. It's so simple when you see it. Why didn't I think of this sooner? But it's getting to that point and that recognition that, like you say, it can be a bit tough. And also, I mean, you were talking about a memory that you weren't sure how real it was or how much of it was received. But because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what isn't, that's why if you start using your imagination and you start dwelling on negative things, you start thinking about, oh, what if this doesn't happen, or if only that, and you put that into your imagination, your subconscious sits there taking it in, going, yeah, that's true, that's right, that's true, because it doesn't know the difference. So you can think yourself down into a deep abyss if you want to, but because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between reality and dream, you can then turn that around and think yourself back up to the sunshine, and it will take you and go with you. It's all in here. So you can change that negative mindset to a positive mindset.
Yeah.
And it opens up so much in front of you. But you can fool your subconscious into working with you and doing that. Or alternatively, you can carry on using it and batting around the same old rubbish, or those same thoughts that actually don't belong to you, or those thoughts that if you stop for a second and listen to them, the voices attached to those thoughts, you would recognize them, but they're not yours. They belong to somebody else. So you can take those thoughts and, like you say, you can either put them into a box, send them out to sea, or lock them in a cupboard, or just give them back. They're yours. Have them back. Don't want them. Because nothing stops somebody faster than giving you something back that you never wanted off them in the first place. And that suddenly sends them going. They don't bother you again. So do that in your head. Just give it back. And don't keep repeating it. And you don't have to keep it with you. You don't have to graft it onto you. It's not yours. Let it go.
Yeah, and that is true. That is something that I've had to let go of. So yeah, because when the memory first came up, which was this time last year actually, so I've been working on that memory for a year, and I didn't even know a lot of the processes, or to let go of it. But in the end, I was gifted my voice back to let go and to show up as I am. And then as you show up as you are,
yes,
then you're happy with you. It doesn't matter what you say. And that's then the beautiful bit, isn't it?
It is. And you tend to find then if anyone else does try any technique in trying to stop you or put you down or make you feel uncomfortable in your own skin, you can just pull that visualization back into practice that says, just get out of here. I don't need that. Do one. Off you go. And you can send them packing. You've already done it with the past stuff, so doing it with the current and the future stuff is even easier because you know what you're doing. You can recognize it and go, hang on a minute, that's your opinion of me, that's not my opinion of me. And your opinion of me is based on your opinion of yourself. So when you're trying to make me feel bad, it's because you feel bad. You're trying to reflect your discomfort onto me.
Yeah.
Not happy. Send them packing. Don't need it. And I've recognised it in other people over the years, and now I recognise it for what it is.
Yeah.
And so I've got this nice little wall around me that says, not getting in, not happening. and so they don't succeed anymore. So it sounds like it's an easy thing to do. It sounds really easy to do. And no, it's not, as you and I both know, it takes a lot of effort to try and get to this stage. But once you are there, oh, it's fantastic. And you learn these techniques of how to defend yourself
Yes.
and strengthen yourself. And then, what other people do, that's their business. And I have this saying, I say it to James a lot because he worries so much about what people think. We live in a small village, so he's constantly believing that people are talking about him all the time. And I just said to him, look, what other people think is none of your business. Because they're not your thoughts. It's none of your business. Let them think. You just carry on. He doesn't have an easy time with that, but I just keep giving him that. Yeah.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's something that I say to my clients as well. It's like I'll say, whatever someone else is thinking of you is none of your business, and it isn't. It's not anyone's business what anyone else thinks of us. Obviously, we take them in because we'll have our anterior cingulate cortex with all that emotional memory in there, kind of triggering off, because that's what happens. Triggers off, and then feeling of pain. It's such a wonderful thing. Your body has. Sorry, I love science. Your body is so amazing and so wonderful.
It is.
So wonderful.
How these two are so intricately connected. So whatever you do here affects here. And if you need to heal, it's got to happen from here. So, if you are feeling unwell, if there's something troubling you, you might take, I don't know, a painkiller. You will take an external medicine, but you're trying to cure something that's actually internal. You've internalized something and your body is manifesting it in a symptom.
Yeah.
If you try and take something with a symptom, you will give yourself temporary relief. But that symptom will probably repeat itself because at the same time, you're repeating the same behavior that you're internalizing that's causing the symptom in the first place. Yeah. So you've got to heal from within. The healing comes from here. And then everything else follows through. And you will then more than likely find your problem's permanently gone. Because you know how to solve it. Yeah. And it is that simple. And yes, sometimes counselling can help you see a way to do this. Psychotherapy goes deeper, I know that. But hypnotherapy as well is probably the gentler form. Psychotherapy can be quite brutal at times. Hypnotherapy is gentler. It's done in a relaxed setting. You are always completely and utterly aware of what's going on. You are technically awake. You're just at that level of relaxation that you would reach if you were about to drop off to sleep. So you're in that last stage before you finally drop off. But if anything were to happen in your environment, you'd be awake in a second. So you're just extremely relaxed. And if you've developed the right rapport and trust with your therapist, then you're happy to be at that state of relaxation. And then from there, your subconscious mind opens up to all kinds of suggestions. Your conscious mind can go off for a little break, and that's when you can start the work from within. And it's all done very safely and just in a very relaxed environment. And it's nowhere near as brutal as doing the psychotherapy bit. It can get to exactly the same depths, and it can get you exploring pretty much the same sort of thing, but without feeling you've been torn apart from the inside out, turned around and put back together again. So it is, I'm not going to say it's sugar-coated, but it's softer, it's gentler, it's kinder to you.
I'm totally with you on that. Totally with you on that. No, because a lot of like say hypnotherapy, a lot of practices, modalities are kind of put to one side in favor of something that's that's a lot more harsh for many of us. I swear by visualizations, And obviously,
Yeah,
hypnotherapy takes you deep into visualization.
very much.
Visualize, that visualizing what's going on. Your brain knows. Your brain knows exactly what it is. It can connect to a muscle in your
It
body.
is, your subconscious mind is a very obedient thing, and it will do whatever you tell it to do. And so, under hypnosis, when you're given suggestions, you're telling the subconscious mind to do something different, and it will do what you want it to do, and it will do exactly as you tell it to do. You've got to be in control, and you tell it. And the suggestions in hypnosis are ones that you then take forward. You want to take these on board, otherwise you wouldn't be sitting in the therapist's chair. So you're open to those suggestions, and you will take them away with you and allow them to work with you, and you tell your brain what you're doing. So much as myself as a hypnotherapist, I can give you suggestions and help you in overcoming whatever issue you come with. When it comes down to it, the healing comes from you.
Yeah.
And you have to want to make that change. You have to want to take that step. And it might feel like a big daunting step, and it possibly is. But once you've made it, you will start to wonder what the fuss was all about eventually. But you have to just have faith in yourself. Have a lot of faith in yourself. And just tell your subconscious mind what it is you want to do, what change, how you see yourself. Visualize yourself without the problems you've got. And that's how you want to be. Put yourself into that image of yourself and see how it feels to be that version of yourself. And tell the subconscious mind that's what you want to do. I can give you lots of suggestions, but if you don't want it to work, it's not going to work. I can give you a toolbox and a list of instructions, and if you use those tools as they're meant to be used, they will work. But if you try to use them for things that they're not designed for, they're not going to work. It's the same thing with hypnosis suggestion. So you use them as they come to you. You use them as they're designed to work, and you want it to work, and those changes will happen.
Yeah. It's the same as, quite a lot of things. The things work. A lot of things do work, but sometimes it takes the effort and the consistency and the focus to keep going so it does work. Sometimes sorry, go on.
Sorry. No, I first started training in hypnotherapy while I was still in my old job at the university. And I remember on my lunch break sitting, just reading a book, and there was a group of research students in the corner having a very loud conversation. And they were talking about hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and one of them said, "Oh yeah, it's just a load of rubbish." She says, "My sister had hypnotherapy and it didn't work for her." And I had to keep my mouth shut, and I had to sit on my hands because I just wanted to say, well, clearly she didn't want it to happen then, did she? Or who paid for it? Did she pay for it herself, or did somebody buy it for her? Because if you don't pay for it yourself, it doesn't work. And it's your hard-earned cash paying for it, you make it work. If somebody else has paid for it, it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. It's the mindset. And I so wanted to join in their conversation, but I thought, no, just walk away. They're not going to listen to me anyway. But that's the sort of thing I hear quite a lot of, oh, yeah, it's all in the mind. Yeah. Yes, that's where it starts. And, oh, does it really work? Does it really work? Yes, if you want it to. But it's the same with the medicine. You get a prescription from the doctor, and your mind is already telling the body this is going to work, because you've already told the brain, I've got this medicine that's going to make me better. And it's when they do drug trials and they do a placebo test and a live drug test, the results from each pretty much mirror one another, because the ones on the placebo have already told their brain, I'm taking the drug and this is what's supposed to happen. And so they will tick the same boxes as the control group.
Wow.
And it's all to do in here. If you're given long-term medicine, the effect of a long-term medicine on average is only about 6 months. Beyond that, if you're taking it for longer, the effect has worn off. It's your brain that's doing the job. So this is a lot more powerful than we give it credit for. That does the healing. The medicine's just there to make you feel a bit better, but it's here. And quite often the medicine you take will have a consequential effect. So you end up taking another medicine to counteract that one. And on it goes. If you want to break that cycle, have a good word with that.
Yeah.
It's like the healing process.
I know a few people who stopped taking lots of medication, lots of medication. I mean, my grandma was on 19 tablets a day, all for different, you take one tablet, but then you have to take another one to counterbalance what the other one's actually doing to you. So you take another one to counterbalance what that one's doing to you and everything else that's going on. So you take another one and another one and another one and another one. Exactly. And then you just have so many tablets, so many tablets.
And you watch the pharmaceutical companies making bigger and bigger profits, and you're sitting there popping all the pills, and you think, wait a minute, who's making the benefit out of this?
But that's the thing. Some tablets, like say paracetamol, for instance. We take paracetamol quite a lot. However, paracetamol can give you an actual headache. So we take the paracetamol, but we're getting another headache. So we take another paracetamol, but we're still getting headaches. So that can be a really vicious cycle in terms of paracetamol. And actually coming off paracetamol, because I came off taking paracetamol, so I don't take paracetamol or ibuprofen or anything. But that doesn't mean I'm going to suggest to anyone that they don't take anything that they, at this point or anything like that, because there is a medical service, and and I always say that it is worthwhile having a medical service, but intermingling both is amazing. Intermingling.
I mean, we're called complementary therapies, and complement, work alongside, work with, in association with.
Absolutely.
Rather than to the exclusion of.
Yeah.
So for years, complementary medicine's been excluded. It's been discouraged. Now all of a sudden, they're starting to appreciate the benefit and see how much more powerful. And people are turning more towards it because they're realizing that the standard medication might not always suit them. Yeah. And so you have to have a mix and match, but don't automatically think you've got to reach for the medication all the time. Have a think about it and see where the problem really lies, and then whether the power is within you to put that right.
Absolutely. I'm going to read some of these as well, because there's some great comments here. So hold on a sec, let's have a look. So Jeannie says, Trina, you have to spit it out and you have to release these things. Peace and love, but it's a journey, obviously, and it's so true. It's a journey of wonderful enlightenment, and that's the thing, it's so beautiful, like going out every day is like a good day. Obviously some days you do still feel things, but then to work through them, don't you? You can kind of like pinpoint where they're coming from. Jeannie says, true, love this lady, she loves you, Lesley.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Jeannie also said, putting your negativity on me is never happening ever again, whomever. Rosalind, you were struggling. You said the computer was frozen, but it's okay via the phone. You know what? We had the same issue today. Yeah. That's the issue that we had, the technical issue. We had an issue with the phone. With the laptop. So it's not just you.
I'm wondering if a lot of people are due to go back to work on Monday, and therefore they're all crashing the system today so they can talk to each other, and it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
That's it. Everything is going back to normal. Jeannie's saying mindset is everything. Absolutely. So true. Jeannie says, Trina, this lady is so right. Agreed. And Jeannie, I use hypnosis every night, and I know 100% it works. So if you are sitting on the fence about doing hypnotherapy, anyone, definitely do it. I know I was sitting on the fence at one time because I thought I couldn't bring myself to trust someone to do it. So I definitely agree with you. Definitely do it. Jeannie is saying, I'm down to 4 tablets and I had 6, and my healing feels amazing. Beautiful. And Jeannie also said, but I have cancer and it's not curable, but I'm doing it and I know I am. Well done, Jeannie. You know what?
Start of every day.
Beautiful. Such a beautiful presence you are, Jeannie. Such a beautiful presence. Thank you for sharing, everyone. So, Lesley, we've left Lesley's details at the top, but do you want to tell them a little bit about your work and where they can find you, where everyone can find you?
Everyone can find me. You can find me on Facebook. I've recently just changed my identity, so the Lesley Wells HP has now changed to Hypno Freedom. So you'll be able to find me there. And I also have a group on Facebook called Hypno Freedom, and you just have to click a request to join, and you're welcome to join. It's a free group, and we discuss all kinds of topics in there. I put up various posts to get your brain working, make you think. And I notice it's quite a quiet community, and I think some people just like to sit and watch, but anyone's welcome to chat, open a discussion thread or whatever in there, it's fine. And then if you want to talk about hypnotherapy and different benefits of hypnotherapy, different approaches, again, it's open for discussion, and that's fine. In terms of the kind of services I offer, I've been thinking, Gina and I in a group, we share membership of a group for women entrepreneurs, and one of the things we're always being told is niche your business, what's your niche? And the thing is, with hypnotherapists, there are so many of us out there. There's loads and loads of us. And so you don't have to just attach yourself to the first one you come across. You have to be comfortable with them. You have to trust them. You have to be comfortable with the thought that you are going to be in a very relaxed state, and you might feel a bit vulnerable in that thought. And so that trust, that rapport is vital. Otherwise, it just won't work. And do I have a niche? Yes, my niche is letting go of the past. Transformational hypnotherapy. And my tagline is transform your life for a better tomorrow. Because when you make that transformation, tomorrow is such a brighter place, and it really is brilliant. And through that transformation, then if you have issues with anxiety, depression, phobias, whatever, we can also work on that, and working on that will be coming from a much more positive angle, and therefore is more likely to have a lasting permanent change. So that's my niche. Not in a nutshell, but that's how I help people. So I look forward to welcoming you into my group if you wish to join. Like my page if you would like to. And any questions you have regarding hypnotherapy, then please come and ask me. And I'm more than happy to discuss any aspects of hypnotherapy with you. But thank you for listening to me, and thank you for your time today.
Oh, thank you so much for your time today, Lesley. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. And Jeannie also said, my cancer is being treated by my own mindset and hypnosis. Wow. Well done, Katie.
Yeah.
But yeah, say that again.
Yeah. So with the hypnosis with cancer, there's that mindfulness element, so that you're helping to keep yourself nice and calm and relaxed, and not worrying and stressing perhaps too much. And I think as well, in Julia's case, where it's incurable, and a lot of the thoughts that would go through your head, maybe family and what's going to happen and so on and so forth. And I think then with hypnosis, you can help with that visualization, that mindfulness, that just helping to keep those fears down, just to allay them and make yourself feel a lot more relaxed and comfortable with that as well. Some people talk about hypnotherapy and transformational hypnotherapy as helping to cure cancer. I don't know what the figures are for that. I don't know what the effect is of that, and I certainly don't practice that. But I would be interested to know if anyone has ever done it and what has been the effect. But hypnosis can have other helps and uses in just helping you get through from day to day and just enjoy life as it is, because all that matters really is what is now is all that really matters. And every moment is a standalone moment. Every moment has its own value. So don't compare one to the next, because each one is unique. And there's a wonderful example, for instance, of Chinese. When the Chinese do a tea ceremony, it's not like us where we pour it in the pot, pour it out. I mean, we do posh stuff. We do like afternoon teas and cream cakes, but what they do in China is they go to great lengths of how they put the tea into the infusion, how they let it infuse, and then how they pour it. And they savor every time they do it, because every time they do a tea ceremony is different from the last one. So each one is unique, and therefore they savor that particular moment. And they are in that moment and they focus on the what is. And when you do that, a lot of other things just melt away. And you realize that what is the only thing that matters. Just thought I'd throw that.
Wow. That shows the beauty of mindfulness. That does. That shows the massive beauty of mindfulness. I love mindfulness and practice every single day. I just want to say thank you for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you for sharing your amazing work that you're doing. And please do, everyone who's watching this, just click the link above and go join Lesley in her community. She provides really great information. It's very inspirational as well. She knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. So next week, we've got the fabulous Claire Clements from Positive Pants. Ask you, do you put on your positive pants every day? So, you know what? Gotta have positive pants, haven't you? Gotta have positive.
I'm in different colours, mate. Yeah.
But she is absolutely amazing and a really great friend of mine, just like Lesley is as well. Lesley lives in the next village to me, so I'm really, really, truly in the same village.
Yeah.
Really, next village.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the same village as me. I'm very, very blessed and fortunate to know such amazing, wonderful women to share some amazing modalities with you that you can enjoy and do over the weekend. Just take some time out for yourself away from social media to help your mindset, to help you get out of whatever's going on in here. Because a lot of the time, a lot of the technology is causing that frustration up here. So I'll leave it there for today. Have a fabulous weekend. Hashtag the social media switch off, or hashtag social media switch off. If you're having a social media switch off this weekend, and what you're going to do for your social media switch off as well. Are you spending it with friends, family, whatever you're doing? Have a good one. Okay, speak soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.